right, so we're gonna do
I have no idea how to tie a D-loop.
we're gonna do a D loop here. First thing we're gonna do is we're gonna burn that end and create that mushroom. So melt it down pretty good. And then you can do one of two things. You can, there you go. Just pat it down. Get a good.
A little more? That's fine, you think?
That's fine.
Okay.
So this bow is going to get shot with a handheld release. So we're going to make sure on this particular case that we want the loop to come through on on one side and pull through the other. So we're going to do, yep, loop on this side. Short end should be on the inside. Sorry.
Short end.
No, like this. Yep.
That's why I have it.
I couldn't see it.
Okay.
So you're gonna feed those. Just take both sides and go right through the loop.
Both sides through the loop. So
Yep.
can I can pull it through?
Yep.
So short side closest to the knocking points.
Yep. So what that does is, in this case, it takes it, and when you have the D loop, the outside pressure is going to pull it
So I should probably
tighter.
Which way am I pulling from? That's too long, right?
This one.
D loops always get me.
And just feed that other one in. Feed it in, feed it in. And then now you're close. So just basically take it and squeeze it down and just work it back and forth a little.
Seat it.
Yep. So it should be seated, and now just, there you go. Yep. Perfect.
Okay.
So now the other thing is that we want this to crisscross the string. So when we start to tie it, we're going to take it. And basically what that's doing is the knots are going to work against each other. The knots are going to work against themselves. So we're going to take this, wrap it around. And bring it through. Just like that.
So Chris, at this point, when you start to kind of fine tune the knocking point length, is this more so just a trial and error type of deal?
For the D loop length,
Yeah.
more or less, I kind of make sure that the first thing I always check when I fit it is that it's not great. I should have tied it the other way. One of the things I always check is like I'll throw a knock on, and then I make sure that when I do the knock that I actually use, then I take the release and make sure I have enough clearance on the release that I'm not going to like clip it on and I'm going to knock the arrow off.
Mm-hmm.
Because sometimes you get D loops that are really, really tight. There you go. So now in this case, like that's obviously too long. So we're going to feed from the D loop in. And we're just going to pull. That's still
Now, what about like, let's say, all right, you cut your D loop, right? And you get into your full draw and you realize that your D loop is potentially too short and your string angle isn't hitting correctly on your nose because of that. Like some of the stuff we discussed in the past, that's all just trial and error, right? So then you'll just go in and add a new D loop.
Yep. I mean, for the most part,
I like that.
yeah.
They stretch a little bit too.
You're gonna get, it's gonna seat a little bit too. So when you're tying them on, like unless you're 100% sure,
Focusing.
you gotta really, it's like, got that knock on there. And then we're gonna check with his release. So see how we have good clearance?
Mm-hmm.
we're gonna leave it there.
I like that.
Yep. That's good. Now, you can cut it off like normally with a knife, or I like to use like a little pair of dikes, and I cut it again, like a little bit away off a little bit off the string. And what it does is it's gonna flatten it out. And these might not be sharp, so. Oh, come on. Why don't you do a knife in a second?
This is live.
I know. Live
Amateur
wire.
hour over here.
Nah,
I can't find my good dikes.
there you go.
So see how it gives like that long flat effect on the end?
Mhm.
So when you're trying to like fuzz it up and you have it like that and it's spread it way out, this just happens to be with the material that I use. Like I use the 23D loop material. So it's all the Dyneema. That just gives it a better burn down.
You said that's 23D.
Yeah. The 23D definitely is one of the most durable materials for D-loop material. I find like a lot of the other one that has the corded center, the 24,
Yeah.
isn't as durable as the 23 is. So I just take an Allen wrench, I grab it, and I yank on that D-loop.